Wait, the prosecutors won't give evidence to his lawyer but are showing it off on HBO? What? Luigi Mangione might not be getting a fair trial. His lawyer is worried about it, and based on what I heard, so am I. Because if this is how the prosecutors treat this case, the most publicly viewed murder trial of the century, then I don't know. So Luigi was in court on February 21st, a couple days ago, and his lawyer brought up a lot of motions. We'll discuss the strategy behind the important ones, how the judge ruled, and how that affects Luigi's trial. But you guys gotta know, Luigi's lawyer is no joke. Karen Friedman Agnifilio is a top defense attorney who used to be a prosecutor, okay? She knows the game. She's a trial lawyer. She knows exactly what she's doing. The biggest thing to me is her argument that she hasn't received key evidence against Luigi, including video evidence and police detective supplemental reports. Now, you might think, Legend, it takes time to get all that together in a case like this, right? Well, yeah, kind of, but it becomes a problem when the defense lawyer is at home and watching TV, watching the NYPD and the New York mayor talking about the key discovery, the key evidence on a documentary on freaking HBO. This is evidence that they're supposed to turn over, and they haven't turned it over yet, and they're talking about it on TV and showing it. So, is this illegal? Well, yeah, it can be. In New York, the prosecution must turn over evidence to the defendant no later than 20 days after arraignment if the defendant is in custody. Now, Luigi's arraignment was back in December, and last I checked, he's in custody all right. And that leads to another defense motion, and this one's kind of brilliant. Luigi's lawyer requested that the shackles be removed from him while he's in court. Yeah, he's in custody, but there's no reason to have him all tied up with all this stuff. And just look at the guy. He totally gets it with the whole media circus, all right? He's got the nice haircut, the green sweater. He's looking solid, even in the shackles. And that's the real genius of this motion. It's not unusual for a murder defendant to stay handcuffed in court, especially when there's no jury around. But the idea of making the motion is so strategic because it's a win-win. If the judge rules to keep Luigi in shackles, then it looks like the system is overreacting to Luigi. But if the judge frees him, then maybe Luigi isn't so dangerous after all. I mean, they clearly aren't worried for their own safety in court. Judge ruled to keep him in the shackles, which is pretty standard, but this might just be another little crumb that helps Luigi's case in the public eye. Okay, the next major issue is a bit more layered, so I need you to follow me here. Luigi's lawyer thinks there could be a search and seizure issue when the Altoona police arrested Luigi. That's going to tie back to the New York case and the federal case as well, because any evidence that's found during an illegal search is inadmissible in court. It's considered fruit of the poisonous tree, meaning prosecutors ain't got shit. Fruit of the poisonous tree, meaning anything stemming from an illegal search cannot be used in a trial. For example, the gun, the killer's clothing, all that evidence that I talk about in my other video, all of that might never see the light of day in a trial if the search was done incorrectly by police. And it gets even deeper. This issue ties back to the first issue of not receiving discovery, and it ties back for two main reasons. Number one, without the video footage and the police notes, the defense lawyer can't say for sure what evidence should be thrown out yet because she hasn't received the videos. She has no idea. She doesn't see the paperwork or the forensics. She doesn't know. And the second bigger problem is that the NYPD chief of detectives and New York Mayor Eric Adams are on an HBO documentary in front of millions of people discussing all of that evidence to the world, when we don't even know if that evidence is going to be allowed in front of the jury. If you're following me, then you're starting to get it, because we don't know who the jury's gonna be. It could be any of those people watching the HBO documentary. And seeing all that evidence that might not be allowed in the trial is going to unfairly prejudice Luigi. So, is Mayor Adams trying to preview the evidence? That's what we call it, previewing the evidence to the jury. Why are they turning over evidence to HBO and not Luigi's lawyer? Is it because they want the potential jurors to hear this improper evidence before a judge says it's illegal? You guys picking up on what I'm saying? You get it. Look, this is beyond the usual press conference like, oh, we found a gun on the suspect and we arrested so-and-so on suspicion of murder. No. This is like more like, hey guys, check out all this dirt we have on Luigi, right? All this evidence. Look, don't worry about if it's illegal or not. Just watch the TV and listen to what we tell you. It's just shady. Oh, and another thing, Luigi is facing federal charges and state charges for the same crime. Now, we talked about this before, but why is it so bad? Let me give you another reason. The prosecution gets to go after Luigi twice for the same thing. Now, the prosecution will be two different agencies, New York and the feds, but it's the government, okay? And there's no actual rule to prevent this in the circumstances that we're in. So even if Luigi beats the murder charge in New York State Court, which the trial there is going first, he could go on to be found guilty in the federal trial in federal court after. And the difference in penalties is also worth highlighting. In New York, there is no capital punishment. No death penalty is allowed. But in federal court, they allow death penalty in a murder case. So why is it that these politicians, the New York mayor, and all those who go around saying they're against capital punishment, why are they working towards slanting the trial in this case when they know it's going to result in the potential death penalty, even though they're publicly against the death penalty? Do you guys see the dissonance here? Like, let me know in the comments. Am I just like overly thinking this? I don't know. If you want to watch my ridiculous journey through this case, start at this video on the top. Or if you want to skip to my analysis of the evidence that I think will be brought against Luigi, click the video on the bottom.